Hey guys, James here, and Season 10 is done with for good now, and we are moving on to Season 11. And to greet Season 11, Death Battle gave us another cryptid trailer, one that is more cryptid than the Season 10 Cypher trailer. And I could not figure out, probably half of what was there. It's what I could figure out. I say I could, but it was just other people and me just trying to piece shit together from them. So, but Season 11, prediction season. I've done this for Season 10, I'm going to do this for Season 11. Just a lineup I think could be what next year is. A lot of these will probably be wrong. I might get one or two correct, and that's it. But I do have reasonings for basically all of them. Some are just because of the trailer, some are just outside factors. And they also did, I'm including one 2D loser from last year, one 3D loser from last year, and then one matchup from the Tournament of Champions that did not win because it was, in the Discord server, and I think maybe in a couple casts, the team did say that just because it lost in the Tournament of Champions doesn't mean it won't happen next year. So I'm not sure exactly if that includes the matchups that made it to the semifinals, or basically any of the last 3 weeks of the Tournament of Champions. I'm not sure if they are included in that, so I'm mostly just keeping my range within the first 8-week losers. So before I get to a certain matchup and then someone says, "Oh, but that was in the Tournament of Champions," there's your reasoning right there. And if you comment that, then whoopsie doodle on you, I guess. This is going to be not really quick, but a semi-quick prediction on what Season 11 may have, and I'm not going to include animation styles just because I didn't feel like it. So yeah, let's go into what my guess for the premiere will be. As the premiere, I am guessing Giorno versus Joker, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Persona. I originally had a different matchup as the premiere slot that I've moved to episode 2. I could very well still see it as a premiere, but I'm guessing Giorno Joker first. I originally did have Kira versus Adachi in this lineup, but with the trailer, I leaned more towards Giorno versus Joker because of the tarot cards. This is also an incredibly popular matchup, probably in the top 10 most requested, so I could also just see them going with this matchup anyways. There is a new Persona 5 game coming out, I believe, if it's not already out. JoJo is fucking JoJo. It's kind of a modern classic in a way, even though it's from 1980s or some shit, but you get what I mean. But for why am I going Giorno Joker, it's because of the tarot cards. There's two different ways I've been seeing people view the tarot cards. The first one, and the idea I'm going with, is that the free tarot cards represent one singular matchup, and then the other idea is that each tarot card represents an individual matchup. I'm going with the idea of it's one single matchup, and it was between Giorno Joker and, was it Makoto versus Neku from Persona and The World Ends With You, I think it is. The reason why I went Giorno Joker is I could totally see it be the other one. Persona 3 is getting a game, a remaster or some shit, next year, so I could totally see it be that. But the reason I'm going Giorno Joker is just because it's the more popular matchup. And the cards was the Fool, Death, and the World. Fool, I'm pretty sure does relate to both Joker and Makoto. I've not played P3, I've only played about 15 or 18 hours of P5. But the World, Dio, Giorno is Dio's son, and then Death. There is also a lot of loop type themes within the trailer. A lot of infinite loops, resets, etc. There's even like a spiral, and that could maybe be like things spiraling back to the beginning. I don't know. There's a couple arguments. I'm making this the same day as the trailer came out, so yeah. But Giorno Joker, I feel like, is a pretty safe bet. It's incredibly popular. Both series are relevant. And I could see this working as a premiere. I could also see this be the finale. I'd be down for that. This could definitely work as a finale. But I'm gonna guess the premiere just because the trailer opened with it. And then the matchup I originally had as the premiere for the longest time, but moved it because of the trailer. Captain America versus Kamen Rider Ichigo. Marvel versus Kamen Rider. This just feels like a really safe bet for this year. It did. I've heard rumors that this got second place on the 2D poll for the Champions Ballot during Season 9 to become a Season 10 episode, and like there's just a lot going for this matchup. Kamen Rider has become increasingly popular over the years, especially in recent years, and especially among Death Battle fans. There was the Death Battle cast that was really well received and got a lot of views, and just a lot of foot traffic outside of Death Battle fans. It's Captain fucking America. It's one of the most recognizable Marvel characters of all time in it. And hey, it's also the most iconic Kamen Rider character, so it does make sense for this to happen next year. The team also does clearly like it. It's an incredibly popular matchup. So I could just see it happening next year. And Captain America is long overdue for a return. A lot of people agree with that. I think he's one of the most agreed upon characters to need a return. And this just makes the most sense to do. And I originally had almost all of the 2D losers on here outside of Among Guys, but I don't know, I didn't really have that on there. I don't really remember why, but the other ones I originally had on here, Showtime, Ori Knight, Kylemon, but I took them off. And I think out of a whole bunch, Captain America vs. Kamen Rider Ichigo is the most likely. I could see any of them happening next year, but I think out of all of them, that one seems the most likely to be done first. And I do hope it does. This is an amazing matchup. Plus, yeah, Cap does deserve that run back, and it would be cool to get Kamen Rider on the show. For my third episode, it's the one I have the least amount of confidence in. It's Oxide versus Whis Pig from Crash Team Racing and Diddy Kong Racing, or just Crash Mario. I have one reason of this being on here, and that is because of a fucking science pig from, I think, Rhythm Heaven Fever in the trailer. Like, it's upside down and the colors are inverted. That's my whole reasoning for it being on here, because scientists, one of these is a pig. I don't know, that's my only logic here. I did also originally have Luigi versus Pac-Man on here, which I could also see that happening instead of this. Red versus Pea-Shooter was also kind of speculated on the pig, which I could also see them doing. That is a fairly popular matchup. I mean, neither franchises are really booming right now, while Mario is always relevant, and Crash has been getting new stuff lately, but whatever, it's just a guess that's only on here because of the trailer. I don't have anything to say on this. I don't know these characters at all, but yeah. Invincible versus Nova. Invincible versus Marvel. Another Marvel matchup. Yeah, there's a good couple on here. This isn't a very realistic season. I don't really have that many DC matchups, and Marvel's kind of cluttering up a good bit. But I feel like we are likely getting an Invincible matchup next year. It could be Gwen versus Adam Eve. And Invincible, well, Mark, I'm just going to say, Mark has a good few matchups that could happen. Steven, Gohan, well, Steven actually not really, because it hasn't been that long since Star Steven. But Gohan and Sam Alexander Nova are the two that feel the most likely to happen for him. And I'm going to lead Nova. Like, there's not really a singular Z1 matchup for Mark that seems the most likely. a lot of people are incredibly mixed on his matchups, and Liam himself also doesn't really seem too sure what his best bet is. I'm assuming that goes for the rest of the team. But Nova seems to be the most well-liked of the bunch, and I could see them do this matchup. And Invincible, the reason why I just think he's incredibly likely for next year, or just someone from the series, is because of Season 2 that came out this year, like late this year, and is continuing in 2024. So I could see them going with this matchup. That's about all I have to speculate with that, but I could see them doing this. Nova and Gohan are Mark's most popular matchups, but I'm leaning Nova for this one. Sly Cooper versus Lupin the Third from Sly Cooper and Lupin the Third. Yeah. This one had a Death Battle cast last year, and the team seemed really invested in the matchup. I know neither franchises, I'm pretty sure neither franchises have anything going on in 2024, but they did do Scooby versus Courage, and Courage hasn't been relevant in a while, and Scooby-Doo had nothing going on that was liked at all. So, and that also was a cast the year before, so I could definitely see them going with this matchup. It's also decently popular among fans, and like I said, the team did seem really invested in the matchup. So I could just see them doing Sly versus Lupin next year. I mean, yeah, that's all I really got for this. I'd be down to see it. Seems cool. And my one Tournament of Champions pick, Luz Noela versus Anne Boonchoi from the Owl House and Amphibia. This is definitely a type of matchup to do sooner rather than later, and considering they did Gojo versus Makima as early as they did, I could see them doing Luz versus Anne next year, probably pretty early on. There was a random screenshot from the trailer that kind of looked like the that in-between world in the Owl House with all boxes. Like if you look from afar and squint, in my opinion, but I don't know. That's kind of all I got for that. But Owl House and Amphibia are both in like their prime popularity right now, so I could see them doing it next year and pretty early on next year. Like, both series are complete. I know Amphibia is getting more content in the form of like books. I'm not sure if it's more like Marcy's Journal or a graphic novel or what, but this is definitely the matchup's peak popularity. It makes sense to do it next year instead of waiting like how they did with Star vs. Steven. The team also just clearly does like it a lot. They had on Tournament of Champions. It's an incredibly popular matchup. There was the cast. I could see them doing this next year. And my first Marvel DC pick is Scarecrow versus Mysterio. DC versus Marvel. I don't really have any big reasons as to assuming this. It's one of the more popular Marvel DC matchups they haven't gotten to yet. There is the SpiderMan game. I think I've heard that Mysterio appears in the second game. I haven't played it yet because I don't have a fucking PlayStation 5. I don't know, that's kind of my best guess. There is also the Batman Arkham Trilogy game that came out. I think Scarecrow might be in it. I don't know. There's nothing really specifically pointing to this matchup happening next year, like how it was with Ant-Man vs. Atom. But we did get Martian Manhunter versus Silver Surfer without anything, at least to my knowledge, going on with Martian Manhunter or Silver Surfer. I know you can argue that they were doing Galactus Unicron, so yeah, they just did that to hint to it. But I don't know. I could see them going with this. It is a popular Marvel DC matchup, so yeah. Again, I'll be down for this. It's a cool matchup. Cool illusionary stuff. This could also be hand-drawn, I don't know. And for our mid-season break, it was either in like a fireside chat or a Death Battle cast. Ben said that we would be doing mid-season breaks again. I guessed Isaac Clarke versus Gordon Freeman, Dead Space versus Halflife. This is, my reasoning for this is it's not like one of my bests, but I have my reasoning. Cole vs. Alex did pretty well for a matchup that was relying on two franchises that just were not relevant at all for a good couple years. So I could see that definitely kind of push towards them doing Isaac versus Freeman. There's also been a matchup they've joked about for years regarding the Death Battle Curse. And Dead Space isn't entirely dead. There was the Dead Space remake that was pretty popular when it came out. And Half-Life is often talked about, mostly in joking about Half-Life 3 never happening. But still, this matchup is incredibly popular among fans, and this definitely could catch the eye of casual viewers. And like with Cole vs. Alex, it does seem like they might, well, I shouldn't say that because we forced them to do it, but they might be willing to do more franchises that aren't entirely the most relevant series. So I could see them go with this, and I went with this as the mid-season finale because this just feels like it has that potential to it. Like, I could see half of the season end off with this matchup. It's definitely a real popular one. It would definitely get a lot of people hyped. So, yeah. And then as our mid-season premiere, we got our Tournament of Champions winner, Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat, Looney Tunes versus Tom and Jerry. We already know this is happening next year. It's just going to be where. I do have it at the same spot as Bill versus Discord just because this feels the most realistic for the matchup. I don't know. This could definitely work as a mid-season premiere, Tournament of Champions or not. Because, like, the amount of dumb fun potential this thing has going for it. So, I mean, yeah. And I don't have exactly that solid of reasoning on my placement. It's just, like, generally where build cord was put, and also it would just be a fun mid-season premiere. Like, you come back from the summer with this matchup, I don't think anyone's really going to complain. And then as my pick for the 3D loser, I'm going Spy versus Agent 47, Team Fortress versus Hitman. I was going to go Kratos versus Asura, but then I got second place on the Tournament of Champions, which made me kind of uncertain if it was going to happen next year. I could totally see it happening in Season 13, or not Season 13, Season 12, if it doesn't happen in Season 11. Like, it's probably in the top 10 most requested at this point now. But out of all the other 3D picks, Spy vs. Agent 47 makes the most sense. Steve vs. Emmett is not well received. Illidan versus... I remember who. The World of Warcraft character. I think everyone kind of forgot about that matchup and just... Oh wait, it was Illidan was the World of Warcraft matchup. Illidan versus Zaya or whatever the hell. I think everyone kind of forgot about that one. And then Deathwing versus Ghidorah. I could see them do that matchup. But, I don't know. But Spy vs. Agent 47 was, like, in the top 5 most hearted matchups in the second half of the ballot for last year. So, the team does know that fans want to see this matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised if this got third place in the 3D poll. Record, it did not have tough competition outside Kratos and Colex, but still. And also, like, Team Fortress is long overdue for another return, and while Sarge vs. Soldier probably would be the next TF2 matchup, I'm not too sure about them doing it next year, so, and I also do need a 3D poll here. So I'm going to go with Spy vs. 47. And, like, it's still a pretty popular matchup, and John Wick definitely isn't going to be returning anytime soon. His last episode was way too recent, so yeah, it makes sense to do this. The team also do like Hitman, so yeah, I could just see them doing this matchup next year. And there is also the weird little graphic error message at the end. I don't know why this matchup gives me vibes about that. I haven't played TF2 or Hitman, so maybe I'm missing something. That's just the vibe I'm getting. And then the other Marvel DC episode Japanese Spider-Man versus Adam West Batman. I just feel like we could get this next year. Like, after the cast, the team does clearly have interest in the matchup and the fun time it can have. And this could work for a real campy live-action episode. It would probably be one of the cheaper live-action episodes they could do. So, I could definitely see them doing this as a live-action episode. We haven't had one since Season 7, so we're, I wouldn't say long overdue, but it would be cool to see another one. And this one, you can excuse, like, the cheaper design going for it and save money on that that part of the production. And I don't think anyone would complain about that. That is part of the fucking magic in a way. And, like, there is also this Spider-Man popularity in both Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Verse. I know Beyond the Spider-Verse was originally going to come out in 2024, but there's been, like, some stuff going on with the release date that wasn't realistic to start with anyways, so, you know, I don't know. I could just see them doing it next year. I need another Marvel DC matchup, and this definitely does seem pretty likely for next year. I hope it does happen. This would be a fun time. And now my Halloween guess. I'm going Eren Yeager versus Ken Kaneki. Tokyo Ghoul versus Attack on Titan versus Tokyo Ghoul. I have lots of reasons for this one. Attack on Titan just ended, so I originally had this earlier on, but then I kind of needed a Halloween episode after Luigi Pac-Man was taken off, so I went with this one. But it's both Attack on Titan's and Tokyo Ghoul's most popular matchup, let alone Eren and Kaneki's. Ben has said he wanted to bring on Tokyo Ghoul, and hey, why not do it with this matchup? It's highly requested, like I mentioned, and Attack on Titan is at its peak relevancy with the anime ending after, what, over 10 years? I'm surprised they didn't do this last year. And this could definitely work for the Halloween matchup. There is a general horror vibe going with this type of matchup. So I could see this working for Halloween. There is another matchup on here I do think could work as the Halloween episode, but I had it placed at a different spot. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like Eren Kaneki is pretty likely for next year. It was likely for this year. I don't know why they didn't do it, but yeah, Eren Kaneki. I hope it also does happen. I don't have any of my top 10s in this list outside of Eren versus Kaneki, so I would... Oh, also, Ann versus Luz, never mind. Or Luzanne. Still, though, I would love to see this happen, and I could definitely see it happen next year. And then the big 200... Ruby Rose versus Maca Albarn. Bleh. I feel pretty confident in this being the 200th episode. I know there are people saying that they should wait till Ruby is finished, but Monty never said, like, to wait until Ruby was done. Just wait on doing the matchup, because this was a request by Monty Ohm. Like, the maker of Ruby, and also Haloid, one of the biggest inspirations for Death Battle, outside of just general versus debates going on at the time, Goku Superman in a way, and Survivor, or whatever that show is called. He is one of the big inspirations for the show, and, well, generally just versus animation as a whole. And this was the matchup he requested, so it makes sense to do this as the 200th episode. It also just feels like the most likely one, because the matchups I saw speculated for the 200th the most was Ruby Maca, Bugs vs. Mickey, and Galactus vs. Unicron. Galactus Unicron happened as the Season 10 finale, and I don't see us getting Bugs vs. Mickey next year because of Wily vs. Tom. I don't know, I don't think they would do 2 Looney Tunes episodes in one season, especially when first introducing the franchise to the show. So, Ruby Maca, I could definitely see happen next year, and I would love to see it. Ben also has said the 200th has been planned for a while now, and in a fireside chat, while the topic of Ruby vs. Maca was discussed, in the chat, I did mention I think this would be an amazing pick for the 200th episode. Ben saw that and he also liked that idea. So yeah, I feel like this is gonna be the 200th episode, and I would love to see it. And then for the 201, I just randomly picked Ultraman 0 versus Gohan, Ultraman versus Dragon Ball. I'm tired of Dragon Ball, so I'm hoping this is wrong. Of all the picks this season, in this prediction, I hope this one is the wrong one and we don't have a single Dragon Ball matchup planned next year. But Goku was shown in a clip from Goku Superman was shown in the teaser. So we're probably getting Dragon Ball Avenue next year, because God forbid we take a break from that series. And apparently Ultraman does like this matchup, or Ultra Guy likes this matchup, so I can see them doing it, assuming they don't do Invincible versus Gohan. Weird that I have Invincible and Gohan in the same season, but they're not fighting each other, but I don't know. That's kind of all I got for this one. I don't care enough to think of more stuff. And then for the penultimate episode, I'm going Lucine versus Ragul from Pokemon and Kill la Kill. Family Feud was shown in the trailer. I'm gonna go with that. This matchup. I don't know. The other big prediction I've seen regarding that is a Tekken matchup. Most likely, Kiryu. No, I don't think his name is Kiryu. Kazuya. I think it's Kazuya versus Albert Wesker. I think it is, from Resident Evil. I could see it being that because Tekken 8 coming out next year. But I'm gonna side Lucine versus Ragul Kiryuin because I like it more, and I'm just gonna guess what's that. I don't know. Pokemon's always relevant, so like you can do this matchup whenever. But the team did notice that this matchup got more hearts, or not the team, Sam and Liam specifically noticed that this matchup got more hearts than Bugs versus Mickey post in the ballot from like 2 years ago or whatever. Not 2 years ago, but for season 10. So yeah, I can see them doing this, and it is a pretty popular matchup. There was, for the season 9 Death Battle Awards, this was it was either a nominated blog or it won best blog for season 9 or 2022 as a whole. So this does seem like a matchup on the team's mind. So I'm gonna go with some Lucine versus Kiryuin, or Ragul Kiryuin, for the penultimate. And then the finale, Ghost Rider versus Spawn, Marvel versus Spawn. I don't know really what I have to say with this one. Like, Spawn is another one of the characters that are most often requested to return. And Ghost Rider is a character that I'm sure people wouldn't mind returning, since his episode was season 6, when they didn't really do the cosmic stuff as much, so he was kind of, not entirely lowballed, but in the animation, he felt it was a bit more lowballed, and Zeraphos didn't really do much in the animation. So I could definitely see him doing this. It's also probably up there most popular matchups, or most requested, at least top 20 or 30. There was the Death Battle cast. The team does seem interested in doing this matchup. So, I mean, yeah. Like, I don't know what more to add. It's an incredibly popular matchup. Spawn has been on their radar a weird amount, from talking about him a lot in Archie Silver's rundown to him having like 2 Death Battle casts in 2024 against Venom and Ghost Rider. So I could totally see them doing this matchup next year. I hope they do this matchup next year. I do kind of prefer Demi-Fiend for Spawn, but I am all for this one too. This is an amazing matchup. And yeah, and this also would probably work well as a finale, because really popular matchup. You can go into the cosmic scale, though you can also probably keep it somewhat more grounded, maybe more into like, maybe more along the lines of Phoenix versus Raven in like showcasing power. I don't know. But I feel like this could definitely work as finale. It's probably a fairly popular finale pick. So, yeah, I'd also be down for this as finale. It probably would be cool. And that's my prediction season. How right will this be? I don't know. Probably not that right at all. Some of these are definitely shots in... well, not some, but there are some shot in the darks here. Some just light speculation. Some random-ass guesses from the vague as hell trailer. I was kind of hoping for a more straightforward one that just showed characters, but I guess we'll go with a headache. Oh, Jesus. But I am excited for Season 11, especially for Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat. That is definitely a matchup I'm looking forward to. And I hope we don't have to wait almost half a year for this one. That would be cool. But I hope you all did enjoy, and peace.